How are we doing today? Good. Well, just in review, we challenged the players to play a complete game, and I thought we did a much better job of that in this last game. Now that we're back in SEC play, I think it's time that we build on build on the momentum, play faster, be more crisp, practice better, play with confidence, use the right technique, not talk about paying attention to detail or being casual or finishing or any of those things. But and if we, want to be the team that we're capable of being, I think it's important for everybody to buy into that and do that. The SEC's a tough league, and every game you play in this league is an important game, as this game will be against Kentucky. So I know you all got the players of the week, and the injury update here. Damian Harris is still going to be day-to-day. Probably won't do much today. I think Ardarius Stewart and Robert Foster will both still be listed as day-to-day and questionable for this game. So we're looking forward to homecoming, playing at home. Hopefully we'll have a great crowd that's very enthusiastic and excited about this game, and I know our players will definitely be. Tony Brown and Johnny Dwight are eligible to play in this game. They've done all the things that they needed to do, so their suspensions are over, and we're very happy to have them back. Kentucky has played their best in the last two games that they've played. Mark Stoops has done a really good job of sort of finding out who they are and how they want to play, and they played really well in the last two games. Really good skilled players on offense, really good running backs, wide receivers. The stats, they're explosive guys. They have pretty impressive performances to this point. Quarterback has played well for him, even though he had to come in for the starter, and he's done a nice job, and they haven't really skipped a beat. Defensively, they definitely played their very best in the last game against South Carolina. Played much better on third down, got off the field. So this is a physical team that I think it's going to be really important that we start fast and play physical in this game, in all aspects of the game, because it's a very well-coached team, and I think they're playing really well right now.
Starting back with Cecil.
Coach, to get away from this week's game for 1 second, a man you've coached against every year since you came back to Alabama, Les Miles, you won't be coaching against him this year, and I wondered what your reaction to that situation was.
Well, first of all, Les Miles is one of the most respected colleagues in terms of the rivalry that we've had, the competition that we've had, the great teams that they've had. I kind of hate it that a man wins a national championship, wins 2 SEC titles, and doesn't make it through the season. It is what it is, but I have tremendous amount of respect for Les Miles, what he was able to accomplish there, the number of wins he had. I mean, this is very similar to, Georgia firing Mark Richt when he averages 10 wins a season. So, I guess this is the time that we live in. Everybody needs to know that, but it doesn't minimize to any degree the amount of respect that we have for the job that Les Miles did at LSU, and the great competitive teams that he's had there for a long, long time, and the amount of success that he's had, and we certainly wish him and his family well.
Back over here to the side with John Senior.
I wanted to ask you about Joshua Jacobs, just kind of when he got on your recruiting radar, and then also what's he done to kind of earn your trust and game time?
Well, I think that we were searching last year and recruiting for running backs because we knew we had a little bit of a depth issue, losing, the top 2 guys last year, Derrick and Kenyon. So, we found Josh a little late in recruiting, but we were happy that we were able to get him. We were very impressed with him, and I think this is, typically a guy that shows great maturity and understanding and very instinctive as a football player, and I think it shows up in his play and how he plays, and it certainly has showed up in how he's developed to be able to play. So hopefully, he'll continue to improve and get better, and he'll be able to be productive as we move forward.
Stay on the side down front, Mark.
Speaking of Tony Brown, now that he is back, how quickly can you work him into the game plan, and what could he bring to the secondary?
Well, I think right now, Tony's got to work on, and I told him this, developing, trust in his teammates and the coaches, and he certainly has the ability to play. He's been an outstanding special teams player for us, so I think that's the first thing you'll see. And then, we'll work him back into the positions that he's played in the past, corner, star, and, see if he can, contribute in any way to make us stronger. I know it's going to add a little depth in an area where we don't have a lot of depth, so that'll definitely be helpful, but I also think it'll create some competition with some of the other players that may be helpful as well.
Front left with Ken.
Just wanted to ask you about Minka's progress from last year to this year, and just what his role is, and how he leads that group in the backside.
Well, Minka's last year did a great job for us. I mean, really showed a tremendous amount of maturity for a freshman, a true freshman, to go in and play in a lot of the circumstances that he had to play in against a very good competition, and did a really good job. I think he's a lot more confident. I think he's knows his knowledge and experience is so much better. He knows exactly what's expected of him, and I think he's performed extremely well in all these games in the beginning of the season, and hopefully he'll be able to continue to improve and be a really good playmaker for us in the future.
We're here with Aaron.
Jonah Williams has been one of your players of the week 3 out of the 4 weeks. That can be a position that can be difficult to play well at as a young player. What have you seen for him through 4 games?
Well, he's just technically very sound. He's very athletic. He's a very smart guy. And just does a really good job of executing. Another one of those guys that can take what you sort of coach him and bring it to the table and do it on a consistent basis. I think, he's a fine young man. Football's important to him. He's got a lot of pride in performance, and he's made a tremendous amount of improvement from the spring to the beginning of the season till now, and we certainly needed that at that position, and he certainly provided it for us.
In the middle with Michael.
How did Jalen Hurts look throwing the ball down the field on Saturday, and what does he still need to do to improve?
Jalen did a nice job in the game. I still think it's a matter of, a couple reads here and there that we just need to clean up with him. I don't think there's anything physically wrong with the way he throws the ball, and each week he has gotten progressively better, and we've had less and less and less of, those types of things, which is the progress that we want to see, and hopefully, we'll be able to continue to build on. And I know it's very important to him. He's works really hard, very conscientious, a really good person, good leader, well respected by his teammates, and nobody wants to get it right more than him, and that's why I think he'll get it right.
Down here front with Dwayne.
Coach, obviously the defense is played stellar. Obviously the game against Ole Miss, they put up points, but they got defensive scores as well. Just your overall assessment of that unit, and did you expect them to play at this level this earlier in the season?
Well, I guess that, the big question we had going into this season was how much depth do we have on defense? How would we be able to sustain the season? And I think in 3 games this year, the defense played really well, and in 1 game this year, we didn't play well at all. And I think that that was the most challenging game offensively we've had to this point because of the skill level of their players and their quarterback, and we didn't respond to it. And I think you have to respond every week to really be good. And when you have the big challenges, that's when you step up and play well. So, hopefully we can improve on that and play with more consistency as basically what I would say. And guys don't need to be getting casual about what they're doing. They need to bear down when we're playing the best teams. And obviously everybody we play here for the next long time that I see is pretty daggone good.
In the middle with Kelly.
Stoops today in his press conference talked a little bit about being recruited by you in high school. What, if anything, do you remember from that?
Well, that was my recruiting area, and Mark played at Cardinal Mooney, and I think I was playing at Michigan State at the time. And my history with the Stoops goes way back. Their dad was a defensive coordinator at Cardinal Mooney. Don Bucci was the head coach, who was a really good friend of mine there, and it was a great program. Bo Pelini, I recruited him when he was in high school, and then Mark came along, and all the Stoops guys went to Iowa, and Uncle Bob, who is still a good friend, was the coach at South High, where we recruited Garcia Lane to Ohio State. So there was just a lot of connections there with the family, and Mark was a really good player, and we really tried to get him, but we didn't. And Hayden Fry had that family pretty wrapped up.
Go in the back, a couple more, back with Joe.
Hey, Coach, you referenced some of the high points of Les Miles' resume, and you also referenced Coach Rick. In both cases where these men lost their jobs, a lot of people have brought up what you've accomplished here at Alabama and how that's, in some cases, raised the bar, raised the expectations for a lot of coaches throughout the league. Do you think that's fair?
Well, it's not really for me to say, one way or the other. We feel fortunate to have the kind of team here that we have at Alabama that's created an atmosphere and environment where our players have a chance to be successful personally, academically, and athletically. And I think we've created a lot of value for our players. And because of that, we've had some really, really good players. And those guys have competed well and played well. And we've had some great coaches. And I think because of the team that we have, from our administration to our athletic administration to the players and coaches that we have, all those things contribute. It's not just about, who the head coach is. And I think that's why we've been successful. And, it's a challenge for us to continue to try to be successful. And I can't really comment on anybody else's standard for what they want to try to accomplish or what they want to try to do.
We'll finish up right here with Alex.
Talk about recruiting Mark, but what have you seen from him as a head coach? He's another one of those coaches that's kind of gotten a lot of heat from outside. What have you just seen from his coaching career there at Kentucky, and thoughts on him?
Well, I think Kentucky has really good players, and all I know is they're a lot better now, and every year that I've seen them, they've gotten better and better and better. And so I think Mark has done a really good job. I know he works hard at recruiting. He's probably improved the players relative to what they're playing with on the field. And I think that the continuity in programs sometimes gets overlooked. And sometimes you got a better chance to build in the long run if you're not constantly making changes. And I think people, sometimes overlook that. So I think Mark has done a really, really good job. And, I think they're a really, competitive physical team that is going to be a real challenge for us.